you didn't know that Mary Kay was a multi-level marketing company? Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Karen and I am a micro-influencer on Instagram, and I also post content here on YouTube mainly about multi-level marketing companies, pyramid schemes, scams, however you want to call them. And they have just become very, very popular these days, and we just need to talk about them. We need to inform you about what these companies really are, what is really their goal. And in order to continue our previous conversation, last time we talked about the sales director agreement, the terms and conditions found in that contract, and the things that you need to be aware of if you want to become an independent beauty consultant or a sales director with Mary Kay, or if you just are curious about what it is and you just want to know what's involved in that. And if you haven't watched it, go back to that video, watch, and then come back to this one, because today we're going to analyze the last contract, the very last contract of Mary Kay. Thank God. I don't know why this MLM company in specific has 3 different contracts for the 3 different types of, categories of ranks that they have, but it is what it is. So today we're going to talk about the National Sales Director Agreement. So let's begin. So I have my glasses here with me today because, as you know, I'm going to be looking at my iPad screen to be looking at the contract, the terms, and what they really mean. If you want to follow along, the link of the contract is on the description of this video, and also the link to these glasses from Amazon, which are pretty cheap and it's really good to block the blue light from transmitted from digital devices. You can also get that. So let's just begin. So we've hit the National Sales Director category with Mary Kay. This is like the top category. If you're up there, that means you've made it with Mary Kay. It means that you are probably making a few bucks and you should be proud of yourself. But if you're just here to be curious about what it involves to be a Mary Kay National Sales Director, then you can stick around here. So let's just begin with Section 1. Section 1, like any other contract that we've analyzed with Mary Kay, is just an acknowledgement, an introduction telling you that you've officially become a National Sales Director and that you have basically agreed to the following terms and conditions that we're going to analyze one by one here. We're not going to go deep into reading word by word the contract because as in the other contract, it has 18 different sections and they're very lengthy. And we're just going to pinpoint on the things that are important and the things that you need to know if this is what interests you. So now Section 2, basically here it talks about the terminology, some of the definitions that Mary Kay would like you to know. Now that you have a new title, now that you have a new rank, it is important that you know 2 different things. First, they want you to know what is a first line unit. So first line unit refers to all those people in your team, in your unit, that are earning commissions as senior sales. Later on, we're going to talk about in specific what that means when we talk about the income disclosure statement and such. But for now, it just refers to the people that are earning commissions on that senior sale level. And 2, the other definition America wants you to know is what it means to be a second line unit, and it basically just means the team of your team. Meaning, if you have a team and people in your team have their own teams, then that refers to second line units. So yes, there's going to be people in your team that eventually are going to develop their own teams. So yes, it's their team, but because they're in your own team, in your own unit, they're called second line units because you didn't form them. That person formed or built that unit themselves. And in Section 2, Mary Kay wants you to know that only people in the United States, Mexico, and Canada can actually qualify and become National Sales Director. For whatever reason, they don't really give much of details about that, but only 3 countries in which you can become National Sales Director. Just keep that in mind. If you live in another country and that's your goal, I'm not entirely sure if in 2020 that policy has changed, but yeah. Now Section 3 here, Mary Kay wants you to know that they have agreed to pay you on a monthly basis like any other ranking in this company. You get paid on a monthly basis based on the commissions that you make or that you generate for that month, from the beginning of the month until the end of the month, as long as you are able to hit that wholesale purchase volume, which is the minimum amount of dollars that you need to make in sales from your team every month. If you don't make that threshold every month, your commission paycheck is going to be held with Mary Kay, and they're probably going to give it to you next month if you qualify or if you hit your wholesale purchase volume. This is true in every MLM company. You have to be able to hit a certain amount of points or a certain amount of dollars in sales in order for that company to pay you your entitled money. Now, section 4 here, just like in the case of the contract we analyzed last week for the sales director agreement, you don't earn commission if you have a new person joining your team and that person purchases a starter kit. You won't earn any commission from the purchase of that starter kit, and you won't earn any commission from that person just for joining your team. You won't get a bonus for that. Those things don't happen in Mary Kay, which is what I said last time is one of the things that sets Mary Kay apart, or that makes Mary Kay a little different from other MLMs, because other MLMs do encourage you to recruit more people because they give you a bonus as soon as that person signs up in your team. But in Mary Kay's case, you don't have to do that. You won't earn any commission when somebody joins your team and purchases a starter kit. The same applies to the national sales director. Same rule for everybody. Now, section 5 in here talks about Mary Kay giving national sales director the right to create business cards, promotional items, signs, or whatever it is that you think you need in order to better promote your business. As a national sales director, you have to be able to come up with creative ways to advertise your business, because you're a national sales director, so your responsibilities are pretty high and you have a lot of requirements to meet every month, so you have to be able to hustle a bit more than you were hustling before. So if you're gonna do that, if you think that it would be good for you to have business cards and promotional items and signs everywhere that say, hey, I am a Mary Kay national sales director, then if you're gonna do that, Mary Kay does allow you to do that. But remember that you have to make sure that you put your name, and under your name you have to make sure that you add your title of national sales director. You cannot just say your name and Mary Kay at the bottom as your title, because then that means that Mary Kay is doing business directly with the person, and that's not how it works. The way it works is you make business with the person, and then the person purchases from Mary Kay. The person has nothing to do with Mary Kay. The person has something to do with you. Now, section 6, here Mary Kay also allows you to use any paper or online publications. In this case, we live in 2020, so it will be social media, so that you're able to advertise your Mary Kay business. That's why a lot of MLM people are so full on social media advertising their business, because that is the most effective way of advertising your business these days. Is modern day life. What are you going to do about it? And so if you create a page for your Mary Kay business, or if you create a new page in social media just for Mary Kay, just for your Mary Kay business, if you happen to terminate your agreement later on, you have to make sure that you give Mary Kay the right to access those pages, to access that information that's on there, because as soon as you terminate your agreement, you have nothing to do with Mary Kay anymore, and anything that you created on behalf of Mary Kay or for the purposes of the business of Mary Kay, it has to stop right there. Like, you are no longer associated with any of that stuff. You're not allowed to keep it either, and Mary Kay will either tell you to give it to them or to just delete everything. Now, section 7 talks about the fact that Mary Kay encourages you or tells you that you have to use the publications and the material that Mary Kay has created, probably in their website, and that they have given you as tools to help, educate and motivate other people to know about the products or know about the business. It is highly encouraged that you use whatever materials Mary Kay has given you to promote the business. But you have alternatives, but it's first you need to use their stuff to advertise the business or advertise the products, and then if you feel like you need extra stuff and you're going to create it yourself, then you can also do that, as long as you follow the policies that we just mentioned. Now section A is very, very interesting, because here is where the responsibilities of a national sales director comes in, and there are a lot, and I just want to mention a few of them. I made a few bullet points. They're very similar to the sales director responsibilities that we analyzed last week, but one or two things are different, and let's see some of them. So the first one here says that you have to be able to motivate other people to become either beauty consultants or independent sales director. This means that you have to constantly keep pushing your unit or your team to, want more, to have higher ranks, to level up. So yes. Now, another responsibility is that you have to make yourself available to present speeches or informational sections from time to time. So this is very common, very famous in MLM companies, that if you have reached the top of the pyramid, the top of the compensation plan, the company sees you as an exemplary person. That people can learn from you, that the people at the bottom of the pyramid can learn some tricks that you may have to help them succeed as well as you did. Now, from time to time, here says that one of your responsibilities is to make yourself available to do speeches, to hop on Zoom calls, to, help train other teams that need a little bit of more pushing, etc. So because you already have that experience, because you're a national sales director, you are more than capable of doing so. So if you haven't gotten rid of your shyness and your reservedness and your timidness to the camera, then it's your time. And if it doesn't go with your personality to involve yourself with giving speeches, being in front of a camera, in front of 1,000 people on a Zoom call, or if we were with the pandemic right now, be able to stand up in a stage and talk to thousands and thousands of people about the things that worked for you and how can you encourage them to do the same, then this is not the right path for you. An MLM company is not the right path for you, because if you want to make it to the top and you don't want to make or fulfill the responsibilities of someone who is at the top, and then this is not for you. And you should realize that now, sooner than you think. Now, the next responsibility that I thought it was very interesting was that you cannot, as a national sales director, affix yourself to one geographical location. Obviously, it says it in the title. You are a national sales director. National means country. If you live in the United States, national means the 50 states. So you cannot say as a national sales director that you only do business in New York. I live in New York. I cannot say that I only do business in New York, or that I can only do business in California, Florida, whatever. No, you're a national sales director. You have to find ways to promote your business in different states, different countries. So, you cannot, like they're saying here, fix yourself to one location, because then you're going to seclude the people that can potentially become beauty consultants or sales directors in your team by putting in your social media or in your website, Mary Kay website, that you only operate in the state of New York, let's just say. So you just have to be open to all the states, probably all the countries, and maybe be able to expand your business a little bit more. Now, another responsibility says here is that you cannot use the Mary Kay logos and trademarks irresponsibly. If Mary Kay thinks that you have done that, they will probably terminate your agreement. You also cannot distribute or sell any products that are not designed by Mary Kay. So if you are a Mary Kay person, you can only use and sell and promote Mary Kay products. You cannot be promoting products from any other MLM companies to people in your team. It is strictly prohibited. And the last responsibility I found interesting is that you have to notify Mary Kay in writing if somebody in your unit, if somebody in your team has done any unethical behavior. So basically you have to rat out or cheat out your own the same people in your unit and your team if they did something wrong. You have to let Mary Kay know, because if you don't and Mary Kay finds out that that person is in your team and they did something unethical, they're probably gonna hold you responsible for that, because you're in charge of a team. You're in charge of a national sales team. You're supposed to, be on top of your people, know what their needs are and what goes on within your team. So yeah, Mary Kay will hold you responsible for that. Now, Section 9, Mary Kay is just telling you here that they update their agreement every January 1st and that you are responsible for reading the new contract every year. The contract is good between January and December of that same year. And so, yeah, you just have to be aware that every year there's a new contract and that you have to read it and understand it. And if there's anything new, you have to make sure that you know what that new stuff is. Now, Section 10, Mary Kay here provides you with reasons as to why they can potentially terminate your agreement. And these reasons are very, very similar to the sales director reasons for termination that we analyzed last week. We were going to, I think one or two are different. Let's just see some of them here. And it basically says here that if you hurt the reputation of Mary Kay in any way that they consider detrimental, they will terminate your agreement. So we're not exactly sure what the word detrimental to Mary Kay would mean, but I believe it would mean them losing lots of money. It would make sense that if an MLM loses lots of money because you've damaged their reputation so much that they have to spend so much money trying to fix their reputation, then I think that's pretty detrimental. Now, also, they can terminate your agreement if you fail to pay Mary Kay any debt that you may have with them. Yeah, you can potentially have debt with Mary Kay, and if you don't pay it, they can terminate your agreement for not paying. Also, they can terminate your agreement if you've become physically or mentally incapacitated to perform the duties that you have to perform as a national sales director. This can happen, life happens, so you just have to be aware that if you can no longer do your responsibilities within Mary Kay, they just have to let you go. Now, any disputes that happens between you and any fellow directors, there might be the case that you and another national sales director might be competing with each other, and a big dispute happens, and Mary Kay loses money over it, and their reputation is hurt in some kind of way. Mary Kay will probably terminate your agreement in that case. So try not to make any trouble with any other of your colleagues, because I guess the whole point of doing an MLM is for everybody to succeed and for everyone to have the same opportunity, right? Okay. The next thing is that Mary Kay can potentially terminate your agreement if you are convicted of any crime. That's pretty obvious. And of course, in the case of death, if you happen to die next month, Mary Kay will terminate your agreement, because nobody else in your family can even inherit it. So yes. Now, Section 11, Mary Kay wants you to fully understand that you are just a national sales director, which means that you're not an employee, you're not considered a partner, you are not an agent, you are not a franchisee, you are not an employee of the company whatsoever. You're just an independent contractor that receives a 1099 form at the end of the year to file your taxes. Okay? That's it. You're not an employee because you don't receive a W-2, and Mary Kay is telling you here, just because you're doing Mary Kay business doesn't mean you're an employee, so get off that cloud. Now, Section 12 is just basically the indemnification, which basically you agree that you cannot sue Mary Kay for any reason, but if you do, Section 13 through 18 lets you know that you have to be very well informed about the laws of the state of Texas, which is where the corporate office of Mary Kay is located. And if you think you want to sue Mary Kay for whatever reason and you want to fight the battle in court, you have to make sure that you know what those Texas rules and laws are, because you don't want to make a fool out of yourself. Now that's pretty much the recap or the summary of the National Sales Director contract, the terms and conditions found in here. It's very interesting to know that Mary Kay operates kind of the same way in every rank. I don't understand why they need to have 3 different contracts for 3 different types of categories of ranks, but that's how they operate. Remember that Mary Kay has been around for a very long time. It's a very old MLM company. I am pretty shocked that they still exist, but as long as they do, we have to talk about them because people still join until this day. I'm not understanding why. So yeah, so this is what happens in this channel. I read contracts, I explain them to you, and all you have to do is watch my videos to listen to the summary of these long and extensive contracts. If you're interested in joining Mary Kay as an MLM company, this is what you need to know about them. I'm going to be putting out more videos on this series about Mary Kay because this is not all you need to know yet. We still need to talk about money. We still need to talk about the compensation plan, the income disclosure statements with Mary Kay, how much money do people can potentially earn on average with Mary Kay, etc., etc. So just stick around because that's what we're going to analyze next week. If you're new, make sure to subscribe so that you can get notified every time I post a new video. And if you have been lingering around here for a while and you haven't subscribed, I'm not sure what you're waiting for because the content here just keeps getting interesting. Please share this video with anyone who you might think it would be helpful for them to know more about Mary Kay, or if they're just curious about Mary Kay like you are, just share it with them. Share it in your social media, share it to people. Doesn't matter how, just share it. So yeah, so next week I will see you guys on my next video.